Have you ever really thought about how a place can completely reinvent itself? Not just once, but over and over again? Well, today we're diving into the incredible story of a place that's done just that. We're talking about Minami Ward in Nagoya, Japan, and its amazing journey from the actual seafloor to a bustling modern city. Okay, so let's get right into it. What you're looking at is basically a before and after shot separated by centuries. On one side, you've got this ancient tidal flat, the Gata, and on the other, the Minami Ward we know today. So how in the world do you get from one to the other? Well, it's this epic story of fighting the sea, of industry, war, terrible disasters, and just unbelievable resilience. So to really get this, we've got to go way, way back. Thousands of years ago, most of what we now call Minami Ward, it wasn't even land. It was a shallow sea, this huge tidal flat called Gata. Actually, fun fact, the name of the entire region, Aichi, is said to come from that ancient seascape. And you can really see this first big transformation happen in like 3 giant leaps. First, about 2,000 years ago, people settled on the only dry land they could find, the high ground. We can still see the evidence at the Miharashi-dai ruins. Then, fast forward to the Edo period. This is where it gets ambitious. They start this massive project to fill in the sea, literally creating new land. And, crucially, the famous Tokaido Road gets built right through here, connecting Tokyo and Kyoto. Suddenly, it's a hub. And that, right there, set the stage for the next explosion, full-blown industrialization.
This new industrial identity, it got powerful fast. But here's the thing, all that power came with a really, really heavy price. By the 1930s and 40s, Minami Ward wasn't just some factory town. It had become a critical engine for Japan's entire war effort, absolutely packed with strategic industry.
Just look at this list, it tells you everything you need to know. We're talking huge Mitsubishi factories building aircraft. The Aichi Clock Company. You think clocks, right? Nope, they were making military parts. And then you have countless other plants just churning out munitions. Add in the port, and you can see how Minami Ward became this indispensable and tragically unmissable target.
And yeah, being that important, that led straight to the absolute darkest chapter in the ward's history. The very industrial might that they had spent decades building was about to be systematically wiped out from the sky. So the US forces changed tactics. And this was a game changer, and not in a good way. At first, they were trying these high-altitude precision strikes on specific factories, but they quickly switched to something far more terrifying, flying low, at night, and dropping thousands of incendiary bombs. These weren't designed to just hit a target, they were designed to set entire neighborhoods on fire.
To even try and grasp the scale of this, just look at that number. 14,500 tons of bombs dropped on Nagoya over 63 air raids. The reports say Mitsubishi's aircraft production was something like 94% destroyed. But the damage went so much further than just the factories.
But, factories can be rebuilt. The real cost, the devastating cost, was human. These numbers are for the whole city of Nagoya. Almost 8,000 people killed, over 10,000 injured. And look at that last number, over 135,000 homes destroyed. That's hundreds of thousands of people left with absolutely nothing. An immense, unimaginable tragedy.
And just when you think it couldn't possibly get any worse, it did. The community is just starting to get back on its feet, and then nature delivers another crushing blow. In 1959, the Isewan Typhoon, one of the most powerful in Japan's history, just slams into the coast. And all that low-lying reclaimed land in Minami Ward, it was completely swamped by massive storm surge. More flooding, more destruction. So you have destruction from war, destruction from nature, just absolute devastation. But what happens next is just incredible. The city didn't just decide to patch things up. They decided to forge something entirely new, something better, from the ashes. This recovery wasn't some slow organic thing. No, this was a plan, a really, really bold one. Can you imagine? City planners designed these enormous 100-meter-wide roads to serve as fire breaks and arteries for a new city. They methodically rezoned and rebuilt everything from the ground up. And the craziest part? It worked. The population of Nagoya just exploded, hitting 1 million people by 1950. That's a testament to the sheer will of the people there.
So, just like that, the old way of life was gone. The old economy, the one tied to the sea with salt and seaweed, and then completely dominated by military manufacturing, it was wiped out. Shattered by the war, and then finished off by the typhoon. And in its place, something totally new. Something more resilient. The economy that rose from the ashes is modern and so much more diverse. Now you've got major event venues, you've got universities like Dado, and a healthy mix of commerce and advanced manufacturing that isn't totally dependent on just one thing. So today, the identity of Minami Ward isn't just about what's there now. It's totally defined by that history of resilience, by that vibrant community spirit. And you can see it everywhere, especially in the symbols the ward has chosen for itself.
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts. It's this mythical being called the Shojo, a red-faced god of good fortune who apparently loves sake. During festivals, someone puts on this giant Shojo costume, sometimes over 2 meters tall, and playfully chases after kids. Why? Because the tradition says that if the Shojo taps you, you'll be healthy for the whole year. It's such a beautiful tradition, and it just perfectly captures the community's hope for health and happiness.
And it's not just in folklore. Even the official symbols tell the same story. The flower is the sunflower. Makes sense, right? Symbolizing the sun and the south. The tree is the camphor tree, or kasunuki. And this is cool. The Japanese characters can literally be read as South Tree. And that crimson M logo? It stands for the passion of the people, for harmony, unity, and development. Every single symbol reinforces that identity of growth and grit. So from seafloor to city, from ashes to a thriving community, the story of Minami Ward is just an incredible lesson in reinvention. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? It leaves us with this question to chew on. How much of a place's identity is shaped, not by what we can see today, but by those invisible layers of history, all the triumphs and all the traumas that are still there, right beneath the surface. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.